Greetings and welcome to episode 269 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly video game news, culture, and discussion podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week. I was actually going to do a bit, so I'm just going to wait a sec. There we go. I'm joined this week by Foxes.
You introduced me first. You
I
did
did.
on purpose, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Hi.
Hi.
I've been playing things,
I haven't.
unfortunately.
And I'm also joined by Daffyd Moody. Hello.
Howdy doodly doo, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday. You know what that means. And also, nice for the 6th
I
time.
know, right? Nice. We did it.
Hey.
Oh, how's everybody doing today?
Not bad, not bad. My week's been all right.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be positive and everything throughout. Like I've had like a couple of. Let's just be frank. I'll just be fair. If these two people know about me personally enough to know, I've had a shit year personally and everything.
Sure.
So I've been trying to turn that around by being a little bit more positive, tweeting out some positivity on the morning, and trying to stay positive and throughout all the day and everything. Won't lie, some of the things we're going to talk about make it incredibly hard to stay positive, but we're still going to talk about them because we are the only fuckers will, because everyone else will not anymore. Fuck them.
Well, the positivity, right? That comes from us actually engaging with it and talking about it and trying to be better and make things a little bit better in our own small ways. So that's where the positivity comes from. Fox, how you
I
doing?
won't lie, like,
sorry,
go on.
No.
I was going to say, there's been some pretty positive things. Like, I'll say right now, thank you, Star Wars, for dropping that Star Wars Vision trailer, because that was epic, and I kind of needed that. I was thinking, oh yeah, that looks lushy. That looks pretty fine.
Nice.
And I'll say that right now, What If right now has been bloody awesome. I've loved the first 2 episodes. The last one kind of made me cry a little bit, just because of a certain actor who
Chadwick
sadly no longer here anymore for his final performance, but still pretty darn good.
Good. That's good. Foxes, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
That's good. Just good. I'm doing pretty good. And then
Yeah,
we
I'm doing
moved
pretty
on.
good. No,
We are
it's,
good.
It's been a pretty good week for the most part. We are good. I've been, like I said, I've been playing some things, been watching some stuff, been catching up. I played a little bit of Chris Tales. Actually, like, that's a really gorgeous game, and I'm
It
having
so
fun.
is. Oh my god, it looks so good.
I could tell that, like, there's a few things that I'm gonna have to, like, get better about, like, because, like, whenever you do the attack and it wants you to do the follow up, I'm really shit at it, and like getting like the critical strikes and stuff like that. But it's actually like really, really fun. I'm looking forward to 12 minutes. Haven't really got into it just yet. There was also something else that I touched recently. I mean, like, I've been putting some more time into EFT, and that's all good. But you know, I talk about that all the time. There was something else that I did play recently that I really wanted to mention. Oh, Mercenaries. I've been actually like getting through Mercenaries and trying to get like S ranks and stuff like that.
Sounds like you said ass ranks there.
Yeah, ass ranks. It's been pretty difficult, but it's been pretty fun. It's good to just like, it's like an arcade game again. You know, just like run
and gun,
run some runs. Yeah, exactly. You know, just go have some fun. You know, go shoot some stuff, and you know,
sometimes it just needs to be fun.
Kill some time. Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to have a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've barely played anything. After me and Moody have been talking about like, oh my god, all the games are coming out, and it's like I've barely played any games in the last.
You haven't played anything, but I have played stuff.
To be fair, like
That's
I've got
weird.
the next 3 days to play games. It's fine. Like
That's true.
I did play Axiom Verge 2 a bit on Monday night, and I'm gonna have some complicated thoughts to talk about. You know, in my review of that next week. But apart from that, it's like I've been reading my lesbian space necromancer's book.
Nice.
It was picked up the pace a little bit. When you get to page like 200 and something, and it's like, oh, everybody's just chilling, having a good time, solving puzzles in space, and then just out of nowhere, it's like, now these people are dead. Wait, what's happening? And then like, oh, now this person's died. What's happening? And it gets nuts.
Left, right, and center, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I had an absolute clusterfuck of a D&D session last night, which I won't go into details with, but I talked to both of you about, and it's like, oh no. And I followed that up with I went out in the nature today, in the woods, and I just walked around the woods for like 4 hours with my best friend, and it was really weird. It's like it's quiet, and there was barely anyone there, and you had time to like think. Like, it's very strange being out in nowhere almost. And your phone doesn't connect to anything, so you can't even use it for anything other than take photos and videos anyway. So, like, that was
Very
nice.
good.
You should come, Moody. You should come when we do one. You and Sphere. We'll
Why
walk
not?
around somewhere.
Cool. Plot someone's murder.
No. Find a new
Thank
place
you for
to
saying that.
new place to live where there's no such things as video games and gamers.
Well, where's the fun in that?
They'd never be able to
Really?
find the woods.
That's true. That's true. I've had a difficult time with some weapons. Like, down,
Oh yeah.
These weapons are too hot.
are too hot, right?
They're too hot. They come onto you so fast. Might have been the wrong sentence how to say that there, I'm not gonna lie. They get very attached to you really fast. And damn.
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 Oh, yeah.
Foxes, I'm not gonna lie. Try out Boyfriend Dungeon. It is damn. You'll be like, damn. And then you'll be like, fuck off, dude. No, seriously, fuck off. You'll know what I mean.
You'll know what, yeah.
If you ever play it.
We're talking about
which
it
we'll
later.
talk about actually, yeah. But no, yeah, it's the review is going to be coming for that. What Amy's spoken about.
It'll be out before this comes out.
Yeah, so I will say right now what I've played so far. I mean, it is a very good game. I've enjoyed a lot of fun with it. I agree with what you said about the mechanics in as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to the
dungeon
part,
The dungeons.
yeah, I do agree with you there. But it is all about the story and the
So much fun though.
sexiness. It's too much eroticness in this game.
It's the thirstiest game I've played for a while. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it is the first
oof,
game.
you just sit there going, "Ooh, mercy."
Something like that, yeah.
It's not even a joke. I don't even think that's probably not even a joke.
It's not. It's not. It's literally facts. Absolute, pure, unadulterated facts.
Hell yeah.
Now I've got decisions to make. I'm just like,
You don't know. You can just romance everybody if you want. That's fine.
I never thought of that.
I know, right? You can do it, and it's polyamory, so the game doesn't mind. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, so we should probably just start the podcast, right? Or just talk
Well,
about
I thought
Boyfriend
we-
Dungeon for 2 hours. Either way,
We
like,
could. That's not gonna be like. Well, you and me could. Foxes couldn't just listen there and just laugh at us while we're gushing about the eroticness of this game.
I'd be perfectly fine with it.
By the end of the eroticness, he might have installed it by then.
Probably, actually.
It's on Game Pass.
It is on Game Pass, so yeah. But no, it's good to just have these random chats about randomness, basically, because we're going to be talking about terrible things again.
Terrible things.
Because you reminded me of like hotness and thirst and whatnot. I've also been playing this other game called Ember. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
It's the
like-
firefighter game, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the firefighter game, and like you got to rescue people and steal their money, or sometimes like salvage, like whatever
What-
the fuck. But like if you don't get to them fast enough, they just turn into a fucking skeleton, and you like pick their body up and you like throw them and shit. It's shenanigans in firefighting that is actually really fun in a video game. It's a pretty good time, especially with friends.
Awesome. We're friends. Maybe we should play sometime.
Hopefully this Tuesday, we'll be playing hopefully a certain game together.
We need to
Maybe.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Mhm.
There's timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube and also wherever you can get your audio podcasts. We are up on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other ones that I've never heard of. Yeah, that's it. I've really just trimmed most of the intro down because I feel like the best part of the intro isn't me explaining. You can go to youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk to get other videos, including a Dark Souls 3 retrospective and reviews that me and Moody do most weeks, but it's the chats between us. That's the best parts of the podcast.
Still, if you do have the rhetoric and you do have the routine of it, sometimes, you can kind of get broken up out of it, and then there can actually still be good conversations and or even laughter.
Me, broken up while trying to do rhetoric, you must be joking. That would never happen to me. I've never flubbed an intro in my life.
Damn right.
Am I gonna have to show my bare ass on podcast for like the first time to get you to be like, okay, now I've stopped my routine?
You gotta remember, Foxes.
What? Me bare ass.
I've been co-hosting
No.
with Moody for like over a year at this point, so like, it's hard to put me off these days.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's dive into our first news story. Like, it's fine. Everything's going to be good news because you know what I've decided, guys? I've decided that we're not going to talk about like all of the bad things that happen in the gaming industry. Which instead, we're just going to talk about how cool that Call of Duty trailer was.
Wait.
No,
there
I'm
was a
just
trailer?
kidding. Could
Oh,
you imagine?
sorry.
Could you imagine being like that? Like if you had like a platform or a YouTube platform or a Twitch platform, could you imagine just saying that out loud
It-
and just being like, yeah, it's fine. Like all of this stuff, all of the harassment stuff. Yeah, so I talked about it once. That's fine. Now it's hype card. Could you imagine being that person? Could you imagine it? Could you?
I listened to some
No.
of them, or used to listen to some of them, and now don't. I used to
No,
support some of them, and now
I-
don't.
I can't because
You have a
Yeah.
soul?
no, I just like it's one of those things that it's just like can't compute, like the CPU's just not registering, error code through whatever the fuck, like nope, don't get it.
Good. I know. I picked my podcast co-hosts very well. I saw you. I podcasted with you guys every now and again on the Glorious Movie Show, and then when that wasn't a thing anymore, I went, I've got a great idea. I'm just gonna bring it back. It's the Glorious Gaming Show.
Nice.
Maybe I'll change the name. Let's get into it. Singapore Labour Rights Agency investigating Ubisoft. This is from Brendan Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Ubisoft Singapore is being investigated by the country's Labour Rights Agency over reports of sexual harassment and discrimination at the studio, according to the Straits Times. The paper reports that the Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices, TAFEP, received a tip about issues at the Skull and Bones studio last month, in the days after a Kotaku report detailed toxic culture, sexual harassment, and racial pay disparity at the studio. According to the outcome of the investigation, TAFEP could require Ubisoft to adopt certain preventative policies at the studio. If the studio is found to have discriminated against employees, local employees were reportedly paid less than foreign hires, then Singapore's Ministry of Manpower could prevent it from seeking new work visas or renewing existing ones for up to 2 years. Ubisoft told the Straits Times that, quote, compensation is determined by role, responsibility, market practices, and performance, end quote, and harassment and discrimination are not tolerated at the studio. Ubisoft is the latest, whatever. Like, you know that Ubisoft is only one of many companies at this point. So yeah, this is obviously isn't like the story that you linked me, Mooney, because I couldn't find it. I forgot to look in Discord. I was in a rush. Like, did you see the penalties that Ubisoft Singapore could get? Like, if they found in breach of some of this stuff.
Mm-mm.
I can't. Are you muted?
Oh, am I mute? I
Yeah,
didn't
you're
realize
muted. I was like,
muted,
I thought the whole podcast had broken down, but then I was like, no way, it's probably just me to be muted again. Yeah, like they can get fined, obviously, because that's sort of like a standard thing. Like people can get put in jail for a decent amount of time, or they can get canned. And it took me like I remember reading the thing. I can't remember which link it was you sent me, but I was like, I had to read that 4 times. Where I was like, they can get what? They can get canned for this in Singapore.
Yeah.
Which I mean I don't support that kind of punishment,
Yeah.
but that still struck out at me as like, wow,
It's like lashing, but with
yeah,
like an
A
actual
hard
stick or something
cane
like that.
with
Yeah, like a hard
it,
cane. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very very like kind of like rough capital punishment.
yeah,
Well, I guess not considered capital,
Yeah.
but a punishment there. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say for this one before I start, it's been 22 days since 1,000 current and former Ubisoft employees signed an open letter to management. They have yet to receive they have not received no response to talk about any of their key demands. Ubisoft
yes,
is still ignoring the situation that everything is going on in everything. I just want to read out quickly their key demands. Stop promoting the movie, not known offenders from studios to studio, team to team, with no repercussions. This circle needs to end. Number 2, we want a collective seat at the table to have a meaningful say on how Ubisoft as a company moves forward from here. Number 3, cross-industry collaboration to agree on a set of ground rules and processes that all studios can use to handle these offenses in the future. And number 4, this collaboration must heavily involve employees in non-management positions and union representatives. And Ubisoft have completely ignored it. 22 days to the day right now since that thing has been signed. And just like this is their Ubisoft, I can only imagine they're like running like crazy, like to try and sort things out. Like this Singapore thing could literally F them right up, especially in their studio in Singapore here. Like a lot of some people could get fired, or some people could get jailed, and some, like I say, I don't like it with Amy and Foxes, do not condone this, but could get caned. That's just the society over in Singapore. That's their laws and everything like that. We don't agree with it, but it could happen. And damn, I would hate to be any of those people if that has a possibility of happening for them. Again, just like Ubisoft, you need to I tweeted out this as like it's a basic requirement for a safe environment work culture. It's a basic requirement. It shouldn't even be getting told as a basic requirement. This should just be the norm. Why do you have a toxic work culture and everything? And why you've allowed this to go on for years and years and years? Like Ubisoft, there's no doubt about this. I would severely want this to bite you in the ass, personally, just because I hate toxic work culture. And especially if anyone heard my rant on last week's episode, trust me, Foxes and Amy did hear it very loudly.
I think Nevis did as well.
Yeah. This type of work, this culture, like the repercussions need to come against this company. There's no doubt about that. But like I say, not the cane one. I'll say that. I'll say that. I can't. I just like no, just no.
Wow.
And everything. But
yeah, Fox. Do you got things to say?
I remember actually like mentioning that I was saying that I really do hope that it doesn't go unnoticed, and that actually something does come up from it, from a legal side, like on theirs, and it looks like it kind of is in some sort of aspect, for like either their group and or team, like going like looking into this. I'm glad, to be honest with you. Yes, the caned is a little bit much, even like yeah, that's a little harsh. But I am glad that they are making strides to actually like try to fix this too, to be honest with you. I like, after mentioning it, it was that I hope that this echoes onto other places to actually, or companies to actually like have investigations about them too, i.e. Ubisoft or whoever it may be. So yeah, this is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like It's good. It's good. It's good. Like the what was it you said last week? Pressure for change.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sort of like reverberated around in my skull. Like after you said it, 'cause I was like, that's such a good way to like phrase it. And like as Mooney just mentioned, it's been 22 days since was it they're called a Better Ubisoft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since like 1,000 people signed a Better Ubisoft's list of demands, which they're like like Mary said, they're like basic requirements, especially when like you're facing such a systemic culture of toxicity, especially if you're a minority in one way or another, and they've said nothing. Like, and this isn't even talking about the fact that it's been over a year since all of this came to light in the first place, and over a decade and more since all of this has been happening and going on. So, like, we'll see what Ubisoft does next, but I'm not particularly hopeful for it. I think they're just trying to figure out what they can what shiny things they can wave at the camera as fast as possible. Like
yeah,
we saw the new operator for Rainbow Six Siege has been announced as the game's first transgender character, and I was reading about the person who like wrote the character was like so happy like that trans representation could be in the game, and that Ubisoft had given them the chance to do that in the game. And it's just like I really want to just celebrate like the fact that there's another transgender character in a video game, but like you're just waving a shiny in front of me, so I'll forget all of the other stuff.
We could celebrate that if we knew that this work culture was done and everything was going brilliantly and they were not having any assholes doing asshole-y things and everything like that. It would be, yeah, I agree with you. Like that post would be the post with one of the main stories. We'll probably be shouting off the rooftops. This is fantastic and everything. Congratulations. This is the thing, like we've said, even though like we are very angry and very annoyed at Ubisoft and throw in Activision Blizzard and Riot Games and everything like that, and every other studio that's having this type of work culture thing right now. We're angry at you because we know you do good games. We know this. Blizzard, you are one of the years ago were creme de la creme. You were like the one people wanted to go and work for you. People wanted to create your games. They fell in love with your World of Warcraft games. I loved Diablo games. I loved Diablo 2. I loved Diablo 3, especially when it came to console. I thought that played brilliantly on console. I was very surprised how great it played on console. But because of this, I just we can't celebrate the great things that you're doing because your nastiness overshadows all the great things right now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. If your great things truly overshadowed the terribleness, these stories would be posed further down and we'd be talking about the great things and everything more often, but it isn't. That's not what happens. That is not, sadly, how the bloody Force works these days, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's like I do celebrate the fact that there is another transgender character in video games. I think that's really cool, and I love the fact that someone who is trans got to create this character and put them into a game, and I celebrate that. I celebrate their work and how much work that they've put into it and how proud they must feel of it. But at the same time, like I can't celebrate that while also like ignoring the fact of like, well, how real transgender people being treated at Ubisoft right now and historically. And it's like
the facts show differently.
Yeah, it's a poison chalice. Like,
yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. Me and Fox has played that over and over again. We love that game. I'll say I still love this game, even though I haven't played it for years and everything. But my goodness, like, and I want to go back. I want to say this again. Let's go and try these new characters out. But I'm just like, nope, I can't. Morally, I cannot do this right now. And I'm not going to until things truly start changing.
I mean,
until that day, it might be a few years before I play a Ubisoft game.
I mean, we're in the same boat. I mean, I'm in the same boat with Foxes as well. Like with Overwatch. # Team Tank, remember? Like, that was a whole thing. And it's just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
Speaking of Blizzard, whew. Transgender Activision QA testers were allegedly dead-named at work. This is from Andrea Sheeran over at The Gamer, who writes, since news of the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit broke, former and current employees at Activision Blizzard have continued to share horrific allegations, including stories of sexual harassment, racism, and sexism. In a new report from Kotaku, Activision Blizzard QA staffers have shared stories of their own, including accounts pertaining to the repeated deadnaming of transgender employees and unlivable wages. In the report, Kotaku detailed how Activision Blizzard's internal programs, quote, default to legal names, end quote, and higher-ups must be contacted in order to change those names. Transgender employees at the company also run the risk of being outed, which can lead to dangerous and painful obstacles for trans individuals. Kotaku's source, Andrew, explained, quote, HR is aware of this issue and has supposedly been talking with others to get the issue fixed, but this has been going on for at least a year, end quote. While Andrew noted he felt respected by his colleagues, he acknowledged others did not. Another employee, Billy, requested that a team of all men use they/them pronouns when addressing them, but the men on their team refused to comply. One man took things as far as using the, quote, I identify as an attack helicopter, end quote, line, which comes from a transphobic internet meme that is used to harass trans and non-binary people. Billy's colleagues did not correct their behavior, and HR took months to respond to their request for help. Activision Blizzard's QA team is also allegedly forced to work grueling overtime hours, clocking in as much as 70 hours a week, according to some accounts. Employee pay ranges from around $14 to $17 an hour, which doesn't even clear the $30 to $40K range if you factor in overtime. It's a salary that's tough anywhere, but is especially cruel in places like Southern California or bigger cities in Texas. Employees also have few or no benefits, meaning there is little or no support for health insurance, PTO, or sick leave. The story shared by Activision Blizzard's QA team continues to illustrate how pervasive the toxic company culture is, according to numerous employee accounts. Last week, another report on Blizzard detailed just how far back some of these accounts go prior to acquisition and how they have continued to escalate under Activision since. So, obviously, like, as I've talked about on the podcast and stuff, like, I've heard not just the stuff that has been on social media and the stuff that's been in the press and on YouTube and just everywhere in the public sphere, but also I've talked to people who worked previously at Blizzard and Activision Blizzard. And I talked about it with Moody not long after we did the very first one of these about following the lawsuit, where they're not my stories to tell, so I didn't want to tell them in public. But like this is one of the things I heard repeatedly were about just people dead-naming trans people and HR not doing much of anything about it. Not just in QA, but in other departments and in other offices around Blizzard. So, and yeah, it resonates with me a little bit. And this is also the thing I think you read just before the podcast last week. Not this specific story, but it's a thing you alluded to, which might have caused an incident. And
what are you talking about? I plead the fifth.
Yeah, like I want to get into talking about the specifics of this story, the things that these QA staffers have gone through. But I also just want to point out that like having the full context of like your blow up last week around people not talking about this because quote unquote they've already talked about it, so I don't need to keep talking about it. It's like, because news stories come out and the news stories deserve to be shared just as much as the original stories, and these people's voices deserve to be heard. And if you're not willing to put that work in when your job or your part-time job or your second job or your hobby or whatever it is that you do with like YouTube and Twitch, like, is to talk about this, to talk about video games, and you just decide not to bother because you've already done it once and you feel like, oh, it'll be boring, it'll be this, it'll be that, nobody wants to hear me keep repeating myself. Like, to quote Moody in a much lower tone of voice, Fuck you.
Let's be frank here. We can never trust HR. Like, never ask
Jesus.
HR to do anything, anybody. Like, seriously, never ask HR to do anything because they are not going to give a flying hoot. It's a deplorable thing when you hear things like this, like dead naming or like refusing to use the pronouns that the certain person is asked to be called or and whatnot. It's just I can understand, like, if it was like sometimes like it was me, like I slip sometimes where like when someone has said their pronouns as this and they've said I don't mean it or anything like that.
Yeah,
and
it's
they know
a-
that. Go on.
As a trans person, let me just jump in real quick there, which is just like everybody slips on pronouns. Even I
Yeah.
slip on pronouns with people. Like the correct thing to do if you're watching this and you're worried about incorrectly using pronouns and misgendering someone, the correct thing to do is you say, like, Moody comes to me and goes, "I will use they them pronouns," and I go, "Mint, that's awesome." And then one day I'm talking to Moody, I'm talking about Moody and Moody's presence, and I say he or him, and I realize, like, shit, I did the wrong one. Just correct yourself and move on.
Yeah.
Don't make a big deal out of it, because you, like, it might seem like, you know, making a big deal out of it and going, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Like, you're putting that on the other person to make them feel bad. Whether you mean to do it or not, that's what you're doing. Just correct yourself and continue the conversation. That's all you need. It's not difficult. It's
Not hard, yeah. Really isn't hard. Like I do it all the time. Right today. Oh, sorry, and all like that, and I move straight on, and I never get attacked. I never. They
Yeah,
never say,
no.
"Yo, you piece of shit," or anything like that.
No
to
one's
me. They
gonna
just-
scream
just-
it. Like, I'm never gonna
Yeah.
scream at you if you accidentally misgender someone and then correct yourself, or if you accidentally misgender someone and then I'll say, "Actually, it's there," and you go, "Sorry, my bad, it's there," and then we just continue the conversation. Like, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna scream at you for that. Like, no one is.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. Like
No,
this is the thing about this. Sorry, Foxes, go on.
No, you're good. The only times it's justified to scream at Moody is when, you know, he gets your opening tagline and then, you know, your opening line for you in your introduction wrong. That's the only time it's ever justified and allowed.
Facts.
when you're playing Halo with them. But
Yeah.
Double facts.
double facts.
But only specifically Moody. You can only
Only
yell about
specifically
Moody.
Moody, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Moody. Specifically Moody. Sorry,
But
I know we were talking about other stuff. I just wanted
I'm
to.
sorry.
I just wanted to do, I guess, a PSA on pronouns.
But this is the thing about it. Like, so 9 times out of 10, people just go, "Why is this a problem?" and everything like that. It's not. It's like literally like what we say all the time. It's not a problem. Just own it though. Just literally say, "Sorry, I apologize for that. I didn't mean that," or anything like that. It's like it's just getting used to it, and they are always understanding. They know that. They probably say him or she if they are now they are them or and everything by accident themselves, maybe because they're getting used to it as well. It's the same thing. They're getting used to it. You're getting used to it. It's easy. When it comes to the whole freaking crap, the crap of identify as an attack helicopter.
I'm so tired.
I would go and find an attack helicopter and literally attack him with that helicopter and say, "Oh, you really sure you identify as this? You piece of shit." No, I digress.
No.
I would not do that
There's-
in general for the people in who listen to this or anything like that. No, it's just that type of thing is just disgusting. It shouldn't happen, anything like that. It's like, just stop it. And then you go to the QA thing in general. It's just like, this is just QA in general, especially when it comes to the big AAA sites and everything like that. They will pay at the lowest rate they can for one of the most important jobs. Everybody in the industry always say QA is at least top 5 jobs in the industry of most important, and it's the most lowest paid. Now you might be saying, then why the hell do you want to get into it? Because I want to change that. I'm not looking for jobs for this, for Ubisoft or Activision Blizzard or anything like that. I'm looking at the ones that are actually doing something to try and evolve and actually give benefits for you, give you a good wage, give you a good where you are bloody crunch culture and everything like that. I see that when I've just applied for one near me, and I'm just like, that sounds flipping amazing. Give me that now. Especially it only wants 1 year's experience. I'm just like, give me that now. I'm here. I'm 20 minutes drive from you guys. I know. Hello.
Oh, sorry. No, you should have done the Ewan McGregor one. Hello there. Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Forgive.
Oh yeah. Hello there.
Ewan McGregor, like whatever you think of the prequels, Ewan McGregor was amazing.
Oh, he was amazing. There's no doubt about it. He was incredible, and that beard just got sexier and sexier. It's like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's a good start.
I don't know if said there was that little sarcasm in there.
It's because everything I say sounds sarcastic.
Missounded, but you're not answering the question if it was sarcastic.
So, Foxes, have you got anything to add?
I love you, Amy.
It's still really sad that it's another one of those things that you just can't fucking trust HR. Like I mean, yeah, like we've been talking about how you can't you can't trust them, but here's another thing to add onto the pile. And to the people who really can't be open-minded and immature and haven't gotten past high school, grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Have a nice fucking day. It's sickening. Like it's just like and it could take like just a few people to be like, knock your shit off. They're actually trying to be serious with you.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Like when I first came out properly, because like I told individual people what was up well before, like the actual day I did. Yes, that was, and that was an awesome conversation we had. Like that was the thing. Like I didn't, and I know I didn't tell you we didn't really know each other that well, but 3 years ago. So, but when I actually properly came out to everyone, like at work, like okay, so I'm gonna get into some really like personal stuff here. Like so, like there's people at my day job, and this is probably the one and only time you'll ever hear me talk about my day job ever. There are people at my day job who I would consider friends, like close personal friends. You know some of them. We play games together. And then there are people who... There's everyone else. Let's just go with everyone else because I don't want to start throwing shade. And like I was made aware by one of those close personal friends at one point of conversations that were happening behind my back that they had overheard at one point, and to my close personal friend's credit, went fucking nuclear about as well, which I was quite happy about. But for me personally, like it's this weird situation where I'm not bothered about the opinions of people that I don't care about. Like I'm bothered about the opinions of people that I do care about. And in that situation, in that specific situation, I had people going to bat for me and going to have my back, which is what makes the difference. It's like I have people that will stand up for me, like in that environment and in life, in real life in general. Like two people sitting right here who'll have my back.
Oh yeah,
and hands down.
That's all it takes. It doesn't take many people. A couple of people who can have your back and just say, "Yo, shut the fuck up," or "Yo, this isn't cool," or just like any like variation of like. Just respect
be
a person.
Be respectful. Sorry, yeah. I shouldn't have interrupted.
No,
yeah,
you said
exactly.
what
Be
I was.
Respectful.
Be respectful. Yeah. And like it's very sad to me that Billy didn't have that in their role at Activision Blizzard. And I think that just speaks to how systemic some of these problems really are. That in like their entire department, the men on their team just all decided to act one way. And also stop overworking QA. Like, the fuck?
Stop overworking stuff in general, but yeah.
True.
Okay. That got real. Let's move on. Does anyone object if we just started like a podcast about kittens?
No?
Okay, cool.
Can we throw a couple of puppies in there as well?
Yeah, sure. Like, we'll just. What
Cool.
if we just started like a cute animals podcast? Like,
Sounds good.
we all go out every week, and we just find like videos and pictures of cute animals, and then we just all come back, and then we all just like go, "This is what I found this week," and then we'll just discuss cute animals.
I'll bring Sophia on. She'll have some brilliant caucus.
We like our homework is to like like bring pictures or whatnot. I'll just go grab like one of the.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'll just go. I'll just bring it on. And like,
Yeah.
So this is now Momo. I just found him yesterday
On our couch.
Yeah.
It's one's river.
I'm in. I think we're onto something here.
Cool.
It's like a nice palate cleansing podcast. Animals of the video game industry. I think we should do that as a podcast episode one week.
The job I've applied for has a in-house dog, and it's a pug. And I was just like, oh my god, I just want a job just for the pug.
Yeah,
That's amazing, actually. Yeah.
please give me this job. Pretty please.
Just do it anyway, please. Not for the dog. Just give me. Give me
No,
it.
100% for the 100% for the dog. All right, let's move on. Riot must inform workers they can talk to unlawful workplace investigators, California says. This is from Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon, who writes, League of Legends developer Riot Games has been accused by California regulators that the game maker hasn't properly told its workers of their rights to participate in an ongoing investigation and lawsuit against the company. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, which also filed suit against Activision Blizzard in July, released a statement Monday that said Riot has delayed informing its employees of their rights for 2 months. Riot was ordered to send a notice to its employees on June 4th to issue a memo that, quote, advised workers of their right to speak freely with the government about unlawful workplace practices, end quote, without fear of retaliation, regardless of non-disclosure or settlement agreements. DFEH asked the court for Riot to make clear that to its employees about their rights after the government body had acquired a number of settlement agreements made in the past. The DFEH said in the news release that it was, quote, alarmed by language in Riot's settlement and separation agreements that suggested employees could not voluntarily and candidly speak with the government about sexual harassment and other violations. It also said there was language that suggested workers could not obtain relief, money, from the lawsuit. Quote, Agreements that attempt to bar individuals from filing a complaint or assisting in a DFEH case run afoul of the anti-retaliation and anti-interference provisions of the Fair Employment and Housing Act. Employers cannot impose a penalty on people who engage in protected activity under statutes enforced by DFEH. The very existence of such agreements has a chilling effect on the willingness of individuals to come forward with information that may be of importance to the DFEH as it seeks to advance the public interest in the elimination of unlawful employment discrimination and harassment, end quote. In 2018, a Kotaku investigation into Riot found that the company fostered a culture of sexism in which marginalized employees were subject to sexual harassment and gender discrimination. In 2019, Riot was ordered to pay at least $10 million to women who have worked at the company over the past 5 years for violating the California Equal Pay Act. The DFEH filed its own lawsuit against Riot in February. Then we got an update. A Riot spokesperson told Polygon that, quote, notices are being sent to former employees to confirm that Riot's severance agreements have never in any way prohibited speaking to government agencies, end quote. It continued, quote, Riot has never and will never retaliate against anyone for talking to any government agency. In fact, our standard severance agreement has included the following language for many years. The court went out of its way to say sending these notices in no way indicates any judgment against Riot on the DFEH allegations, and the judge recognized that Riot has always maintained that our agreements allow people to make government complaints, end quote. The spokesperson also pointed Polygon to internal emails wherein the company told current workers that it could speak to the DFEH without retaliation.
Something must have happened for him to send this, though.
Yeah, right. I mean, This
gonna
is
say.
this is Activision Blizzard's initial response to the DFEH lawsuit all over again. Well, it's not us, mate. And then like the narrator pops in and goes, "It was indeed them, mate." Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Basically,
the DFEH doesn't just
Indeed.
randomly send memos out like for no reason. It's the DFEH. You're not dealing with like some fucking cowboy law firm who's just trying to make some money. Like these are lawyers whose goal, because they work for the government, not private law firms, their goal is to ensure exactly whatever it says it is. In this case, like equal pay, equal rights in the workplace, non-toxic workplace cultures. So if they're saying something, there's probably some element of truth to it, because they have no incentive to stir the shit.
Riot just keeps sticking their head into the sand, trying to put out a fire while not looking at it, and they keep missing it all the time. What do you expect when you got people who have sexually harassed or created a toxic culture in a studio? What they're going to try and do? They're going to say, no, we didn't try to do this at all. No, we've complied all the time. Here's shiny thing. Have they released shiny thing yet? I don't know.
There was a news story I noticed where they were talking about making a music video. Like they did KDA for League of Legends, and they were talking about doing something similar for Valorant. So yeah, I guess they're doing the shake shiny thing at the camera and hope that this goes away. You can always find the shiny thing. Does it take? It's not hard to find. Like if there's a news story like this on a podcast, on this podcast, if you go to like a news gaming website, you will find the shiny thing that they're shaking to try and distract you from what we're talking about here. Like it's practically, you could set your fucking calendar to it at this point.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, so Riot's still rioting, I guess.
They were like, yo, people forgot about us.
Oops. No, they haven't. Shit.
You're taking all our limelight. Thank you.
Wait,
what do we do?
There's plenty of limelight to go around.
Mm-hmm.
Trust.
Mm.
Yeah, like I want it to end. Like, not in the way of like, I want to shut up. I want everybody to stop talking. I want this to end. I don't know. I want the industry to unionize. I want things to just get better. I want everything that is causing this to be ripped out of the games industry by force, if necessary, metaphorical force. Like, obviously metaphorically ripped out. I hope that goes without saying. But like, I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how much it will, how much it would like disrupt like the industry or like the video games or whatever. Like I don't care anymore. I want the industry to be a place that like I can be happy that Moody is trying to get a job in it and not apprehensive that Moody is trying to get a job in it. Like, I don't want to be getting messages from my friends who work in the games industry about the terrible shit they have witnessed and the terrible shit that they have gone through. And if you think I've just been getting messages from people who used to work at Activision, Blizzard, or Riot, or any of the companies that you've heard of about in the news, you're absolutely dead fucking wrong, because that's not the case. Like, I want to be able to play games without having in the back of my mind like how much suffering went into this, like how many people had to suffer so that I could enjoy this video game. That's what I want.
Yeah.
It is. It's fast. It's like I said before, like a safe environment, work culture is why it somehow has to be dubbed. Why I have to be saying the words "it's a basic requirement" is absolutely insane. It shouldn't be a basic requirement. It should be just a requirement. It should be there. I shouldn't be saying this. It should just be there, right there for people. We have a great workplace environment. See, we aren't all there isn't fire over there at all. So come on in. It's all truly great. No, we are literally on fire, but we're gonna hire you anyway.
Yeah.
And I've seen people like who are following everything like said, "Oh, I've just joined Ubisoft, or I've just signed Activision." I'm just like, run! I'm like, run! Like, literally say, just wait until you have, after your 30-day release course is about to hand up, and say, just get the fuck out. I said, nah, I'm changing my mind, I'm gone. Get out of there! Run! I'm sure you're really happy. You might be getting a great wage. Get the fuck out of there as fast as you can right now. Because the idiots in charge of those companies are not going to fix this culture at this moment in time.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
You know what we need to do, Moody Foxes? I've figured it out. But I figured, like, from my extensive, like, reading of all sorts of information, what we need to do is, like, and when I say we, I mean what the people in the games industry need to do is they need to seize the means of production.
Thing is, we can't.
That's it. I've gone. I've been talking about how I've been getting more and more radicalized as time has gone on, and I've reached the logical end point. Fuck it.
Like, the crazy thing is that's actually quite easily accessible. The CEOs need the developers to create these games. The producers and all like this, yes, they may know. I'm sure they know level design and all like this, probably. But doesn't mean they can to create a Call of Duty game within 12 freaking months' notice. No, they can't. No, they can't create an online Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game in freaking what's coming out in about 2 or 3 years' time. Without the developers, that's how crazy it is for me that this kind of thing happens. That we haven't had these mass walkouts even sooner. I know we had the one with Activision Blizzard 2 weeks ago now, but I'm very surprised that we have not heard even more of this because it's the employees have more power. They know they do. If they just banded together properly and literally it's literally just going to the thing of unionizing. Basically, then but yeah, they can't create the CEOs and the all Bob Chapek and all like that can't create the bloody Call of Duties to get the multi-million dollars that they're going to get in their paychecks without the developers and the people who and the level designers and the QAs and the artists and all like this doing all this work for you. They can't. They walk out. You will not replace them in time to get this game out. That's the thing about it. I'm very intrigued to see how much, if there's been any real delay because of the delay of the walkout, because I'm pretty sure the walkouts happened at the Call of Duty ones as well. So I'm very intrigued to see how much has that hampered their process and everything. Because I'm pretty sure because they've got like 6 development teams on this, I think.
Yeah, there's like a lot of development studios at Activision now just make COD. Like we covered it a while back when the Vicarious Vision stuff happened, and it's just like there's like so many studios that just make COD and don't make any other games for Activision.
But there was always just primarily one doing for one each year, wasn't it? Now they've had to move ones from other studios to get them on this to speed this up.
So there's always just the primary development studio. Like this year's game is Sledgehammer's game, right? So they're like the primary development studio, and then like they'll have other studios like High Moon or Beanox or whatever come in to do like specific things, maybe like make maps, make multiplayer maps, designing levels. For the single player, it depends what kind of COD game you're talking about, really. Some of them don't even have single player. I don't know whether I'm more proud of the fact that I managed to sneak Karl Marx quote into the podcast or the fact that I managed to get Mooney to agree with it. But Foxes, do you have anything to say about any of this? Speechless is fine. Like, that's totally acceptable.
I just like at this point, like the fact that there isn't basic requirements, like you said, Moody, to like, let people know of like, harmful and or unlawful workplace and or conditions or whatever maybe, it's like that should be an easy conversation, or in your your work contract or whatever it may be. Like, it's just 101 right on the top. It's like, here's how we can protect you, and here's how you can protect yourself, and like whatever the fuck. But it's
Yeah, right. It's
really
like, here's how
unfortunate
we
that it's
protect
fucking not.
you.
Yeah.
Should be a basic thing. Here's how you can protect yourself. Should be a basic thing. And the news stories that we've been reading in the last few weeks and last few years, let's be fair, like both of those things have failed.
Yep.
Completely, like, and categorically, like both of those things have failed. And unfortunately, it's not the millionaire, billionaire CEOs and managing directors that face the brunt of the consequences for it. It's the people who were supposed to be protected by those two things, who take all of the consequences before, during, after, onto the next studio. Let's talk about the next studio. Aeon Must Die resurfaces without answers to workplace culture allegations. This is from Kenneth Shepard over at Fanbyte, who writes, just a little over a year ago, Aeon Must Die was shown off at a State of Play presentation. While the stylized beat-em-up caught viewers' attention, the trailer was actually outsourced, as the entire development team at Limestone Games had left the company due to toxic workplace culture, which was illustrated in a series of files uploaded by ex-staff to Dropbox. However, that trailer has once again surfaced on publisher Focus Home Interactive's YouTube channel, raising questions about the state of the game, the developer, and the investigation the publishers said it was conducting last year. After information on the state of Limestone Games went public, it was revealed Focus Home Interactive had been aware of allegations made regarding, quote, endless crunch, harassment, abuse, corruption, and manipulation, end quote, after workers had to pursue legal avenues to get the publisher to ask for proof. According to the documents Limestone published, Focus Home leaked documents about the situation to Limestone management. Focus Home's response to the entire mess was to say it was putting forth an investigation on the matter, and that it wouldn't be releasing comment on the situation until it had a better picture of what was going on. Well, it's been a year, and Aeon Must Die is suddenly part of Focus Home's marketing push again. Fanbyte reached out for a comment from Focus Home Interactive, but have not heard back by the time of publish. In the time since, Limestone has published a blog post about the team on its official website saying, quote, it's forever thankful to all the amazing people that help bring our visions to life. Making game is a great thing to do, bit of a grammatical error there, but making them with people you care for is even better, which is why we make sure we spend as much time together not making games as we do when we're making them, end quote. CEO Yaroslav Lysenko, who is cited as a source of much of the toxicity within the company in the original docs, is still in that position at the company, according to the site. And then we got a Focus Home Interactive response, which reads, Focus Home Interactive released a statement on the situation to Fanbyte, saying it carried out a social and legal audit with an international law firm and an Estonian law firm, as well as an independent investigation by the Estonian International Association of Video Game Developers, neither of which confirmed any of the accusations against Limestone management. The company also says it doesn't replace the creative teams of projects it publishes and maintains an advisory and support role. The full statement... Do I need to read the full statement? It's more or less just what we just said. I'm not going to read it. We talked about this last... I remember this from last year. This was the state game at the State of Play. Where all hell broke loose immediately after it dropped at the State of Play.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing about this. Like, it's a... If people have come out and reported and called out a bad work culture, then there's obviously, if there's smoke, there's fire. But then also at the same time...
Especially when they all leave.
Yeah. There's like, they all left. So they had to outsource to get the bloody game, so at least trailer for the game. So, like, then you just go, so, this,
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What couldn't they find? All the staff walked out. How hard is it for them to find evidence here?
And all
Did
the
they not
files
speak
were on
to any of them?
Dropbox. Like, I read the files. I don't know if you remember, Moody. Like, when we did this on the podcast last year, I
Well,
looked
I
at all.
don't remember what happened 2 weeks ago.
No, that's fair.
sometime,
That's
so-
fair. Like, to be fair, I only remembered this. I'm like, it's like object permanence. It's like as soon as I saw
Yeah.
the news story, it all came flooding back. I read the files. I looked at the files on Dropbox. You can't find what you're not looking for.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. It reminds me of the report the UK government commissioned and published into the issue of systemic racism in the UK, and they found that actually we just cured racism as an entire nation.
We are completely unracist in the United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom is a completely non-racist country, according to a report commissioned by the government.
What happened at the Euros was completely not English.
Yeah,
Or
no
UK.
one from England was racist towards any footballers who, got the team, the football team, to the finals of a major footballing championship.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the English
Wasn't the
fans
English.
booing the England team every time they took the knee for diversity. Nah. It was the other team.
Basically, what we're alluding to here is you can commission a report to find whatever the fuck you want it to find. That's it. That's the simple truth of the matter. Does anyone with half a brain cell think that the United Kingdom has completely solved racism? No, of course we haven't completely solved racism. You fucking mental. Like,
Are you telling me that document was a lie, Amy?
you know what? I'm telling you that document heavily distorted the truth.
Okay. Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. If you're trying to, I'm not even going allegedly this
I
time.
saw an opening, even though it was wrong, I was going to use his sin.
I'm not even going to go with allegedly because I'm pretty sure within 2 minutes of Googling, I can find definitive proof that the United Kingdom is in fact a racist country and does in fact have a problem with systemic racism.
The racist prime minister, so.
Yeah, right? I'm not going to repeat what he said, but, he said a lot of racist stuff in his time, and he's the leader. Yeah, so, like, Focus Home Interactive can do the thing and put out the Focus carried out an assistance of 2 law firms, social and legal audit, which did not confirm any of the accusations leveled against the management of Limestone. This, and I'm banging my microphone on my desk to make a point here. This is why people don't speak out. I don't know if that actually came through on the recording when I was saying, but like I felt like I had to do something dramatic there. This is why people don't speak out, because the people in power, the people who are running the publishers and running the developers and running this and running that, they don't want to find any evidence of this. They just want the video games to keep being made. That's it.
Yep.
You can't find what you're not looking for.
It really sucks that just because of what's happening and everything in the industry, that the gaming industry is one of the most profitable industries in the world. Like, it outdoes movies and music basically combined when it comes to its profits. And because of that, this type of culture's all continued unnoticed and everything, and it's all happened, and they think it's let's keep on doing it and everything, and it's just like, nope, it's a load of bollocks. But they want to keep on bringing on their money and everything. That's why they're throwing out a new shiny Call of Duty and all like that, and it's just like, yeah, it sucks.
Sure does. Do you know one of the first things I saw on Twitter when I emerged from the woods back into the civilized society that had like reception? And I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a ton of people being like, "Wow, Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty trailer looks mint." And I was like, maybe I'll just go back. Maybe I'll just turn around and go back into the woods.
For it, though? Did you see my thing for
I
it?
did see your thing for it.
Yeah, see. I said I would do it, so yeah, I did.
And you did.
And I'll keep on doing that fucker for every single one of them.
Follow through. Foxes, do you want to talk about Among Us? Yeah. Well, tough. We're talking about Fortnite. Among Us devs speak out about Fortnite's controversial imposters mode. This is from Wesley M. Poole over at Eurogamer. You see what I did there? Who writes, "Some of the people behind Indie Hit Among Us have spoken out about Fortnite's new imposter mode. Yesterday, Fortnite developer Epic announced a new game mode for its all-encompassing Battle Royale." I've killed foxes. It didn't take long. that has an uncanny resemblance to 2018 online multiplayer social deduction game Among Us. Fortnite Imposters sees 10 players, 8 agents, and 2 imposters play out their roles on a submarine. Like in Among Us, the agents carry out routine assignments while the imposters sabotage the facility and eliminate players. Imposters can also teleport players to cover their tracks and disable assignments. And just like Among Us, agents can call for a discussion at any time by finding and reporting an eliminated agent or interacting with the discussion panel. During discussions, agents and imposters can share information with each other via remotes and a brand new quick chat menu, asking contextual questions about who was doing what and accusing suspicious candidates for ejection. At the end of each discussion, agents and imposters vote to either eject someone or skip their vote. As news of the new mode spread online, some of the people behind Among Us expressed their disappointment on social media. Quote, "It would have been really, really cool to collab. Haha, just sad indie hours right now," tweeted Among Us community director Victoria Trun.
Shout out to her, she's awesome.
She's amazing. Then, quote, "Like game mechanics, fine. Those shouldn't be gatekept. But at the very least, different themes or terminology makes things more interesting," end quote. Innislaw's lead Unity program, Adriel Wallach, expressed her disappointment via a webcomic, and then added to the end of that, "Anyway, just feeling pretty bummed today. Everything in the world was already feeling insurmountable, so this was just another fun reminder of how tiny we really are," end quote. Programmer Gary Porter also weighed in, and these tweets were what caught my attention. To this, I hadn't seen this until I saw these tweets, because he put a side by side of the map from the submarine in Fortnite and the Skeld, the original map from Among Us. And then he tweeted, "I haven't been tweeting much recently because I've been working so hard on upcoming content for Among Us. Excuse me. So it feels weird to be compelled to tweet again because of stuff like this. It's okay though, they flipped electrical and medbay and connected security to the cafeteria. I wasn't even around for the development of Skeld, and I'm still kind of offended. Anyway, that's my piece on the whole thing. Gonna get back to adding butts to Among Us or whatever." End quote. There was another one later on. Yeah, there was another one later on where someone tweeted it's one of the, I think it was Victoria, tweeted that it stings even more because they'd literally been trying to reach out to Epic to collaborate with Innislaw, and considering Epic have been collaborating with literally every fucking one, it seems pretty disingenuous that they would not, and then completely rip Among Us off. Sorry, go on, Moody, I interrupted you.
Oh, no. Yeah, they've basically ripped them off. That's just be frankly, the map looks very similar to one of their maps, and it's like, damn, I agree with what one of the tweets says, like gatekeeping, mechanics and everything like that shouldn't happen, and like that we should be sharing a lot and all like that. It happens in every game.
Yeah.
Third-person shooters, for third-person shooters, the whole shebang, first and third, the whole puzzles, platformers, the whole shebang, all basically
build on what comes before to make something new. But that's the important part. It's the second part of the sentence. You build on what comes before to make something new, not the same thing.
That's what they. The crazy thing is that's what they did with Fortnite. Fortnite, they took something and built on it.
Yeah.
They literally did that. That's the facts. They literally took something that was working in another studio, PUBG, or even another one before that, and they literally evolved it, and it's become one of the biggest phenomenons in the industry. And then they've just basically just went, yeah, we'll just do what they do. They'll just do what they're doing. We won't elevate it. We won't evolve it. We won't change it up to do the Fortnite jazz to it. They literally have just copied it. And that is absolutely insane, especially with the amount of flipping money this Epic earned every freaking day, every single month. Like, none of us, we can all say this, none of us even knew what Among Us was last year until the last 5-6 months of the year, that what was Among Us. The game came out in 2018. No one had an idea what the hell that game was at all. And now it's played consistently every day. And just because it's the it thing right now, Epic have literally just went, we'll have that. It would have just been simple to buying the freaking company. just do that and say, we're going to allow you to throw Fortnite skins in and everything and all like that or whatever. It would have been simple, like Victoria Chan says. We could have collabed on this bugger. We could have done something really great and unique.
Yep.
Nah.
Imagine an imposter in Fortnite, a little jelly bean crewmate in Fortnite.
Sucks.
It would be like the end of the pickaxe, and like every time you did it, or something like
Yeah,
that.
like the noise when you
Yeah.
complete a task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have two minds about this. One is that you made it popular enough to get noticed by someone who thinks that you did something so well that they felt like they had to copy it one for one. Now I realize that that's like, oh, hip hip hooray for us, but it's actually still a pretty good achievement nonetheless. Just small silver lining. Like I said, I have two minds about this. The other mind about this is that it really fucking sucks that they didn't work out. They didn't work with you when you were trying to reach out to actually work with them. That actually that stings. That's a really shitty part about it. And to be honest with you, it is one of those things that's just like, well, how many places do you continue to do like that if do you like that if you no matter how trustworthy and communicative and hardworking you are, if they're just gonna basically rip it out from underneath you. My response would be to just keep trying. There'll probably be some other company that would be like, yo, if you're actually legit and you want to use your actual assets or your actual stuff or whatever the fuck, and make a new different type of look for it or whatever it may be. It's obvious that they got the shaft, so to speak. Yeah. Well, not really, because they weren't shafted at anything, but in the same sense that they were overlooked. That's really the takeaway, and that sucks.
Sure does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's no denying it.
Yeah.
I want everyone to remember this the next time we hear about Epic versus Apple and how Epic is just looking out for the little guy. They're just looking out for the little guy. And I believe I remember, Moody, we had a conversation about that lawsuit earlier this year, in which our conclusion was they're not.
They're not a little guy.
They're not looking out for the little guy.
Mm.
Oops. I think they just proved it. Sure. I mean, imagine how many times. Sorry, no, go on.
No, I was gonna say, I think when one of us stream on Saturday for the game, we should have the title. This is actually Inner Sloths Among Us, not Fortnite's Among
Just
Us.
this is not Fortnite's Among Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll put that as a title.
It's Inner Sloths Among Us.
This is Among Us original.
Yeah.
We don't play Fortnite here.
Yeah.
Again, no shade on Fortnite and people who like Fortnite.
Yeah, no, when you become mainstream, you've done something right. I can't deny that. I'll take my cap off you. When you've become mainstream, you've done something right. Even if the game doesn't work for me personally, but I can't deny it's done incredibly well.
It is what you would call a big deal. Speaking of deals, indie dev turning down $500,000 sparks conversation about hostile publisher contracts. This is from Joseph Noop over at PC Gamer, who writes, turning down $500,000, no matter the context, is a pretty big deal. You see what I did there? Solo indie developer Jake Friend, creator of wizarding adventure Scobdackle, knew that when he turned down a game publisher's offer, but says the contract that came with it was exploitative and contained insane breach of contract penalties while leaving the publisher at considerably less risk. Jake Friend's thoughts, posted to Twitter, kicked off a social media conversation about the give-and-take nature of contracts indie developers are often faced with when desperately attempting to secure funding for their projects. Jake Friend, who publicly declined to name the publisher, explained that if a usually ambiguous breach of contract was found, the contract allowed the publisher to keep the rights to the game's IP. The publisher would also be given all rights to sell the game, and Jake Friend would lose his royalty, effectively giving the publisher 100% of the revenue. Jake Friend also said the contract would require him to pay back all of the advance money given to him, and incredibly, that the publisher would be able to take control over the game's production and finish development at Jake Friend's personal cost, and with no limit to how much they could charge. Quote, and these are Jake Friend's tweets. So here's me, a 30-year-old solo dev, facing a consequence where if my game is taken away from me, I'm also in debt. The debt would be anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000, and with no option for further income. Likely any funds I'd already received would be spent on cost of living, and I don't have money like that, you know? So if this happens, I'm in debt forever, end quote. Jake Friend explains that the contract presented to him included a 100-0 split in favor of the publisher until the game sells about 24,000 copies and makes about $250,000. The contract also wouldn't require the publisher to pay the developer their share of revenue until, quote, 30 days past the end of the quarter, end quote, which could take 4 months. If Jake Friend wanted to allege that the publisher underpaid him, the publisher is under no legal obligation to pay any penalty fee, only what is legally allowed, and any audit would come out of the developer's funds. Other details Jake Friend pointed out include allowing the publisher to implement advertisements in-game at the developer's expense, and establishing the global sales taxes are solely the developer's responsibility. Quote, when I voiced heavy concerns with the contract, they were surprised. Like, very honestly surprised. Again, I don't think they meant to harm or to exploit, but predatory behavior has been normalized in the industry. I guess it just doesn't stand out anymore, end quote. Obviously, since the publisher is unknown, we've only looking at it through Jake Friend's eyes. Lawyer and legal commentator Richard Haig says that, assuming everything Jake Friend shared is accurate, quote, I tend to agree that repayment and loss of rights is going too far. Often, if there's a termination, I would look for repayment or loss of rights. They get their money back on your breach, but if they take your game instead, that debt is paid solely out of revenues. However, end quote. However, Haig disagrees with Jake Friend's assertion that there's no risk to a publisher for elongating their return of their capital. Haig adds that every contract would benefit all parties by equally establishing incredibly clear quantifiable metrics for both financial obligations and marketing. Haig agreed that the contract is aggressive, but, quote, probably not quite as bad as portrayed, end quote.
Typical lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that. That's a typical lawyer. I have to play both sides here, so I'm going to say this. Okay, I see where he's coming from, but I also see where they're coming from, type of thing. Shut up, lawyer.
Objection.
Wow. I object.
Nailed it. Ace Attorney, baby. That's all I know about lawyers.
Like, whoever this publisher is, like, damn, like, if this is all true and everything, like, seriously, this is crazy and just bonkers. And indie studios create some of the best games out there. They really do. And they're so full of heart, and you can feel everything they've put into their game. Even if the game doesn't work for you, sometimes you can still feel it. Like, we've just reviewed a game a couple of days ago. It just came out, no longer home. Game personally did not work for me, but I still felt some things on it. I could feel the heart from the developers in this game. A publisher trying to take taking the financial away from them is like deplorable and despicable, and making it so hard for them to even make money that by the end they would probably be even in significant debt where they would have to pay back certain things. And it's just like, wait, what? This is not how a publisher things. Let me rephrase that. I do not know a publisher's contract or anything like that. I just want to be frank there. But that just sounds absolutely bonkers and insane. And like, it goes back to like the thing of like how much of a knife's edge it is for an indie developer just to try and find funding to create this game, to be able to pay the staff to create the game and do all these things. And this is terrible. I hate to hear these type of things. Like, indie developers are the best. and
Indie
deserve all
developers
the
are the
love.
best. Shout out any indie developers watching this podcast right now. Shout out you all rock. And your games, like, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Your games are fantastic.
Yeah, like
This
if I
channel is
was,
very close to becoming indie game only at this rate. Like, just
that's
basic
true.
purely on the fucking personal tastes of the people reviewing the games.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that for Jake Friend to try and do something different is like obviously he's rejected the contract. It sounds like it. So for me, look at publishers who clearly do show that they help the developer. On the one I'll say off the top of the head right now, the one I would say is Devolver Digital or Annapurna. Those two are some of the best publishers out there, and they help the indie developer. Unless one of these was one of those developed publishers, and then screw that.
I was gonna say,
But I
like,
highly
you playing
doubt
a
it. I highly doubt
dangerous
it.
game here, Moody.
Yeah, but I highly doubt that at the same line. But this does sound really bad.
Yeah.
Don't hurt the indie developers, guys. Don't hurt them.
Yeah, no, don't do it. We'll come for you. You've seen our fury.
You heard mine.
Yeah. We'll come for you. Hurt indie developers, and war was declared. I'll declare war. Like, that's it. That's it. I'll go down swinging.
The line will be drawn here. No further.
I hope I just want to say, I like to, in my indie dev friends, just be very careful about signing contracts with publishers. Like, I know you need the money to make games and stuff, but just make sure you're not screwing yourselves over. Because that does worry me a bit. I don't know, there'll be people out there going, well, it's not your problem, Amy. It's like, I know a lot of indie developers. Like, kind of, I care about the people I know. It's like, it kind of is my problem. It's one of the many great, like, benefits of chatting away on YouTube about video games for, like, the last half decade or whatever it's been. Like, I got to meet developers and know them, and it's great. But also, like, please be careful with big publishers.
Very true.
Should we move on? Let's move on. Where are we up to? Oh, God. Outriders devs are yet to receive any royalties or be told how many copies have been sold. This is from Josh Colshan over at The Gamer, who writes, the team behind Square Enix's Outriders is yet to receive any royalties for the game and doesn't even know how well it performed. What the fuck is happening on your camera, Moody? I just looked up and you're fucking
shaking my mother.
Your entire world was shaking.
Earthquake.
Sorry, audio listeners. I got distracted for a second there. The team behind Square Enix's Outriders is yet to receive any royalties for the game and doesn't even know how well it has performed so far in terms of sales. Delays to release dates have made 2021 feel like a slow year for new games so far. Really? Hasn't felt like a slow year. Okay.
It's almost like they don't consider a whole category of types, or of ranks of video games.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think by like 8 out of my top 10 games of the year have all been indie games, so you might be right there. However, if you look back at the first 7 months, we've actually been pretty spoiled considering the circumstances. Hitman, Pokemon Snap, Resident Evil Village, just to name a few. Yeah, you might be right there, Foxes. Square Enix also launched Outriders.
No one talks about that.
Well, I forgot it existed, and I had it in my Fantasy Create team. Square Enix also launched Outriders, the popularity of which feels as if it fell off far more quickly than expected. So much so that in a recent interview with Sebastian Wojciechowski suggests Outriders hasn't even come close to performing as expected. He says he's the president of People Can Fly, the studio responsible for developing Outriders. He revealed to Eurogamer that Square is yet to reveal how many copies of Outriders have been sold so far, which also means People Can Fly is yet to receive any royalties for the game. Quote, we do not have any data on the sales of Outriders. We estimated it between 2 and 3 million copies. The lack of payment by the publisher probably means that this is not the case. End quote. Since People Can Fly has yet to receive royalties for Outriders, it likely means the cost of production, promotion, and distribution wasn't covered during the game's first quarter. That means one of two things. Either the game isn't performing as well as Square hoped, or those costs were higher than expected. The game was plagued with problems at launch, so there's every chance it's the former that has resulted in People Can Fly being left in the dark. How much did you fucking spend on this game?
Oh, well, I was going to say that, yeah.
Because I'm not being funny, but this was a Game Pass game, right? So you must have gotten a hell of a lot of chunk of change from Microsoft to launch. You launch like what was probably like the first third party AAA day one release in Game Pass. So like Square, how much did you spend on this game if it's not turned to profit yet? Because it sold pretty fucking well. Like, it didn't set the world on fire, but like I remember hearing about it like earlier in the year that it sold decently.
Well, yeah, everyone like said it's like, but then it sold like 1 million copies, like like really fast or something.
Yeah, it was pretty quick to sell.
Or that it had many, or was it that they had many people playing it on Game Pass?
I don't know. I think they had millions of players, which obviously, like, you factor in the fact that there's people playing on Game Pass. But like, it must have.
Yeah.
I seem to recall, and that might not be true from my end. I seem to recall that it was. It's somewhere I'd read that it had sold quite well. It was in a MPD at one point. I think it still is. But like, how much did Square spend on this game if they're not paying royalties yet? People Can Fly.
Obviously too much.
What the fuck did you do, Square?
Clearly they're doing some bad finances.
There was a lot of advertisement for it, but like you would think that would bring in more money versus actually be as much spending on it. But then again, I guess you got to imagine how many people actually stuck around to watch all the ads and whatever it may be as well. So
well, it got me and Moody playing it. And that's an
achievement.
It got us. We both played it, which is an achievement in and of itself, considering it's a freaking live service third person. I mean, no, it's not a proper live, but it's an online multiplayer third person shooter, which isn't exactly the type of game me and Food usually go for.
I bought it, played it, beat it. Probably won't ever go back, but
you bought it.
Yeah, I bought it exactly.
That's the thing about it, like live service games, like especially as you're a small AAA developer or anything like that, have to be very, very careful here because you may have been touting that we're doing things different and we've got these type of things, but unless you really truly land properly, and you clearly did not, because the reviews overall were like. Weren't they like a bit of a mixed bag overall? Like low set. It was like, I would say Overtale wasn't it? It was like getting like around 7 out of 10s overall, wasn't it? Give or take. But like the game personally just never worked for me, and everything. And I was just like, for me. It wasn't really bringing in anything new to the fold and everything. So
I mean, I get that, yeah, but like at this point, like my question isn't so much the quality of the game itself, so much as where the fucking money went.
Well, obviously they obviously have overspent. Like they overspent, they spent a ton of money on bloody Avengers, and they've lost $350 million.
I can only imagine how much of the Avengers license would have cost.
So they Square Enix have thrown out a ton of money, and they've barely had any return on it from two of their very highly advertised games in Avengers and Outriders. Like they advertised the shit out of both of those games, and both of them have had mixed receptions / 7 out of 10s levels, which I'm not saying is bad or anything like that, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't. It's just you need that big word of mouth to continue it. And these games, especially Outriders, did not get that. Like barely anyone plays it that I know of. So, like, I haven't thought about that game since I was basically said, nope, I'm not enjoying it somehow. I'm uninstalling it, and I completely ignored it for the rest of the year. It's a big thing here, like, and it's just like, Jesus, how much are you actually spending here? Like, seriously, because you're gonna be close to putting yourselves in debt. Sony, you're gonna have to buy you eventually, and you're gonna make the price so nice for them. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's no problem. Give us Final Fantasy truly exclusive. We're good with that."
they already have it exclusive.
I know that, but you know what I mean.
At the last MPD, Outriders was the 9th best-selling game of 2021 year to date.
Wow.
What was that again? Sorry.
At the last MPD, sorry, I was looking down because I was looking at my laptop. At the last MPD, Outriders was the 9th best-selling game year to date. So, like, in all of 2021, Outriders is the ninth top-selling game.
It's impressive.
So it can't have sold
How expensive
badly.
is
I'm thinking I've read the MPD like every month all year, and I'm sure like I keep saying the word Outriders. Like it's the only thing that keeps out. And again, for me, like again, the quality of the game isn't important to this discussion because it's sold some copies. It's the 9th best selling game of the year.
Somewhere along the way, they made some.
Somewhere along the way, they've made some bank because I'm pretty sure like Microsoft doesn't get Game Pass games for nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure they have to spend some money on that. So fuck knows what Square Enix did with this game in terms of its budget.
Maybe
But-
that's why they're doing more exclusives to PlayStation.
Holy shit, yeah. They need the fucking money.
Yeah, they say you want Final Fantasy 16, 20 million.
I
or
would
whatever.
I would
Ronan.
I would suggest that like maybe it's time to like hire an accountant at
Yeah.
Square Enix and be like, maybe we should stop spending so much money. Like, you know, Avengers flopped. Outriders was apparently a sales success, but still somehow flopped. Both of those things still happen. Simon, both of those things seem to be true. So this is weird, and I'm gonna keep an eye on this as the year progresses. Like I want to. Like for me personally, like this is a puzzle box now, and I want to know what I'm intrigued. Like I need to know what happened to the money. Like Square Enix is like now that I'm really thinking about the decisions and Square Enix has been making, like for recently, it's like remember Shadow of the Tomb Raider? No one does. Keith, the biggest Tomb Raider fan I've ever met in my entire life, didn't even know that game came out because Square Enix forgot to fucking market it. Like. There's suddenly in my head, there's a lot of Square Enix decisions in the past sort of like half decade where I've been like, actually, that didn't make much sense.
They didn't market Mankind Divided that much.
Oh, they were like, oh, this didn't sell well. And it was like, that's because you didn't tell anyone it came out. Like, what did you do? The only decision they've made well that I can think of off the top of my head in the past few years is Final Fantasy VII Remake was an absolute banger.
I would say like most Final Fantasy games get really pushed out the door and get shoved into people's faces a lot. Like whether it be 14 or the next 20.
I guess a lot of
18 or
people like
whatever it
14.
is. Yeah. And then like the
Volume's
remakes of
different.
like the old ones, stuff like that, people really dig it.
People, I hear nothing but great things about Final Fantasy 14. Especially how crazy of a life that kind of game's had.
Oh yeah, the story is wild. I would suggest checking out the NoClip documentary about Final Fantasy 14 because that was one hell of a story. Yeah. I don't know. I want to know where the money went. You know what they're always saying about follow the money. I'm gonna start trying to follow the money. In the meantime, let's move on. Boyfriend dungeon content warning updated following concerns over triggering topics. This is from Danielle Partis over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Boyfriend dungeon developer Kit Fox Games has updated a content warning in the game after concerns that some of the themes explored in the plot were triggering for some players. The game explores sensitive topics, including stalking and emotional manipulation throughout the story. It also touches on domestic abuse and kidnapping. In a new update, Kit Fox made changes to a warning already featured in the game to reflect themes more specifically. Quote, this game's story involves exposure to unwanted advances, stalking, and other forms of emotional manipulation, the warning reads. Play with care and take breaks as needed, end quote. The latest update also fixes a few other sensitive issues, such as removing a reference to stillbirth and adding a vegan option to a portion of dialogue. These adjustments join a toggle to turn off in-game text from a character called Mom should players wish to avoid it. This is what I was talking about. So like me and Moody, obviously we did a boyfriend dungeon review. At the time I'd played it and Moody hadn't, and I opened the boyfriend dungeon review by saying, listen, I think it's a good game and I'm going to talk about why. But there was a content warning that was kind of like not as strong as it needed to be. For some of the things that are unavoidable as you play the game. I talked a little bit about them in the review. Moody's now obviously played the game. He's messaged me about the stuff that's in the game, so I know he's obviously seen it. And I assume he might agree with me, like that maybe the content warning needed to be. To be fair, what they've changed it to, like, I think what they've changed it to is pretty much spot on. Like personally,
Yeah, it sounds really good what they're putting in there and everything. It's spot on. This is how you progress, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it works. You call it out, but you don't slam them for it, and then you give them time to work on it.
Well, I mean, a lot of people did talk about this and say, yo, this is an issue. Some people were upset, which is understandable given the content matter and the vague warning that, like, my problem with the content warning, as I mentioned in the boyfriend dungeon fashionability review video, was that it wasn't as specific as it needed to be, and it didn't mention the fact that the stuff that it was talking about, the stalk and the emotional manipulation, was a part of the main story and is unavoidable if you want to play the game. That was my problem with it. However,
yeah.
we can talk about the fact that the developer started getting threats. The voice actor of Eric, the character who does all of the things mentioned in the content warning to play a character, started getting threats and harassment, like, for playing the character, because apparently Twitter has killed creative literacy at this point. Like,
yikes!
Like, we could have, in a certain section of the internet, did have like a very civil and quite interesting discussion about content warnings in general, about trigger warnings, about improving it. And Kid Fox Games came out and said, yeah, we're going to improve this because we think, even we agree, we think it needs improving, and we want to do better. And then on the other side of the fence, like, people just came out of nowhere just to start sending threats to a developer and a voice actor and community manager. And
I knew about the voice actor. I did not know about the community manager or the developer. Okay, so I'll hold my hand up
that's
there.
fair.
I'll just say that, okay? I don't see all the things either.
I see everything.
You really get pissed off all the time. I'm amazed you aren't in it. I'm not going to lie, I'm amazed you're not in an asylum already. Ready put in there because you're ready to punch people. Really
this
hard.
is my asylum.
True, yeah. But no, yeah, so that I did not know that. Like I said, I knew about the voice actor, and like I even tweeted at him saying, yo, you were amazing. You are great as this character. It was a great performance, and like you're spot on. Like, he knows himself. This is a deplorable person, but he's just doing a job, and he's allowed to do the job, and he's doing it really well.
He's the antagonist in a video game.
So, yeah, don't be a douche. Just don't be a douche. Like, come on. You can hold it. Like we've been saying for the last few weeks. Hold the developers to account and everything like that, but do not threaten them.
Yeah.
Don't.
No.
Do not threaten them whatsoever. Like, seriously, you don't deserve. Give them a chance to literally say, "Yo, you're right."
Yeah.
Let's get done.
Yeah,
we
had a nice conversation about this on our video, on the internet in general. There was a nice conversation going on about this. There was back and forth between people and sort of like, like discussions being had, debates being had, and then there was just fucking nonsense from capital G gamers, I guess. That just unbelievable. Like, there was no need. Like, even when I come at Activision Blizzard with the fury of 1,000 suns, I'm not coming at the people who work there, just the developers. I'm not. I love those people. I think they're fantastic. As long as they're not like harassing people or creating a toxic work culture, I fucking love them. I think they're superheroes. Like, I'm coming for the company, and I'm coming for the people who run for the company, or who run the company. It's the same with Kid Fuck Games. I came for no one in our discussion. I literally just said, I think this can be improved. and the developers already said they're going to improve it, but I'm doing a review of a game, so here's why I think it can be improved. That's it. That's all I needed.
Facts.
Fact. No one needed to fucking go at Kid Fox Games with, like, where's that energy for Activision Blizzard? Like,
Oh, that is actually facts, even though we wouldn't agree with it either.
no, oh god, no
Yeah.
threats, no harassment, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the energy itself of being like,
Yeah.
of like getting riled up about Kid Fox Games, which was completely unnecessary, but like we're just gonna just not talk about Activision Blizzard anymore. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, again, don't harass. This isn't me saying you should go and harass and threaten people who work at Activision Blizzard. I want to make that very clear because I just realized what I just said. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But
You know
holy
what I
Christ.
want? I want this person now to get nominated for all the voice awards and win them all, just like Laura Bailey did last year to give a giant middle finger to the capital G gamers.
Laura Bailey winning
Idiots.
winning the best performance at the Game Awards in 2020 was literally the highlight of my year.
I won't lie, I think she cleaned house. I think she won it
She
at
won the
every single
BAFTAs
one.
as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. I love that. I'm in my head. It's just a response to what happened with Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. Like, fuck it, just fuck you, gamers. You have no power here.
You have no power, yeah.
Right. We're through it all. We're through all that stuff. So now, let's talk about Steven Spawn raising $1 million for Able Gamers. This is from Jeffrey Russo over at GameIndustry.biz. He writes, Able Gamers COO Steven Spawn announced that it has raised $1 million for its Spawn Together campaign. The milestone was announced yesterday by Spawn via Twitter. The Spawn Together initiative was created by him with a goal of raising $1 million before his 40th birthday, which happens next month. Quote, we spawned together, all of us have come together, and we have managed to raise $1 million for people with disabilities who want to play games, just like everyone else, end quote. Founded in 2004 by Mark Bartlett, Able Gamers' mission is to help people with disabilities improve their quality of life by using video games to foster community, fun, and accessibility. The nonprofit also collaborates with developers to create games and assistive technology that allows games to be more accessible to those who are disabled.
Seriously though. Shout out to you.
Shout out to Steven Spawn and Able Gamers and everyone who donated or retweeted or shared or watched a live stream or whatever it was and however way you contributed. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking magnificent. Love to see this.
Legendary. Truly a legend. And deserves all the love.
Hell fucking yes. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Agreed.
Hey, Moody. Do you want to talk about Pokemon?
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Put this in here for you because it's definitely not for me. Because I've played one Pokemon game in my entire life. This is everything announced during Pokemon Presents, which happened earlier this week. Number 1, Pokemon Unite comes out on mobile devices on the 22nd of September alongside crossplay with the Nintendo Switch version. This is the MOBA-ish Pokemon, right? That I've seen people playing on Twitter.
Which one?
Pokemon Unite.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. We've played it?
It's had a lot of people playing it, yeah. Even though it's got very predatory actions when it comes to its loot boxes and everything like that.
I'm shocked. This is my shocked face. Do you see it? Do you see the shock in my face?
No.
I'll have to work on that. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's the other thing. No, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Sorry, I got mixed up there. So.
I haven't played it. It wasn't anything that appealed to me personally, but no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a mobile player.
Yeah.
And Fox is just shaking his head, so I guess. Nah.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah. All right. Well, let's keep going.
My jam.
Free-to-play puzzle game Pokemon Cafe Mix is set for a revamp and will soon be called Pokemon Cafe Remix. See what you did there, Nintendo. This revamp brings refreshed puzzles with new elements, new Pokemon, and dress-up options. The revamp goes live in autumn.
I had no idea this game existed. Apparently,
like
it's been out for a few years.
I feel like I've heard the name before. Pokemon Cafe Mix. Let's have a look. Free-to-play puzzle video game. Game was released June 23rd, 2020. What is this? Curious. There's lots of pictures of cute Pokemon, and I like the idea of dress-up. That sounds appealing to me.
Is this the second Pokemon game Amy's going to try?
No, the second Pokemon game I'm going to try is going to be Legends.
But you're not going to try Shining Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl with me?
I'm not. You know what? I'm hedging my bets on there being a billion games coming out at the same time.
You were able to play the other one with a billion games coming out.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna finish that sentence. I'll lose a cause if I finish that sentence. On the 20th of August, Pokemon Go gets Pokemon first discovered in the Galar region as part of its last big summer event.
Yep, going to the latest region that came out with obviously Sword and Shield and Sword. And I think Pokemon Go, like that is literally their bread and butter, man. It really is. The amount of money they've made from that game is astonishing. It makes like the little like free to play the games like the puzzle Pokemon Cafe Remix. What's going to be soon? Like literally look like just a little stain on the window when it comes to this. Like Pokemon Go's not a game for me. Like I'd give it a try. I won't lie. I'll give it a try when it all started.
Everyone on the planet gave it a try.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it wasn't for me personally. But damn, it is a phenomenon.
No.
And eventually, when the next region gets announced, they'll add it to this game as well. So,
okay, here we go.
Which I'm kind of thinking might be next year, if not the year after.
Maybe. I don't know. I said when I said maybe, I was just sort of like trying to continue the conversation like a good podcast co-host. Like maybe, like I know anything about Pokemon. Like,
yeah, it all really depends on
Eevee's cute.
Are they going to do like a sequel? Like do a different version like they did with like there's red and blue, but there's yellow as well and all like that.
They probably will.
Or are they going to do like Sword and Shield 2, different versions, but kind of basically updated versions to drag it out a little bit more? Or are they going to create a new region?
Sword, Shield, and Helmet.
Where's my spear? Where's the spear?
That's better. That's better.
Pokemon Spear.
Sword, Shield, and Bastard Sword. I'd play a game called Pokemon Bastard Sword in a heartbeat.
Pokemon Axe.
Pokemon Shotgun.
It's just a giant brawl. All killing each other.
But like really like violently and gruesomely with blood everywhere. Like.
Mm-hmm.
The Pokemon Company showed off a fresh look at Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, both of which is due out 19th of November on Nintendo Switch. And there are also new Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl themed Switch lights.
We knew it was going to happen.
not full fat Switches, Switch lights, which I thought was interesting. But I think they'll probably save the Pokemon themed Nintendo Switch full price one for next year.
The OLED?
Yeah, the next January's big.
Oh, the one we'll get to,
game.
Yeah. The more and more I see of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the more and more I'm just like, I love the art style they've chosen for this. I think it's absolutely cute and adorable. I know people are very like, oh no, I wanted it to be like Sword and Shield and all like that. Well, you complained about the visuals in Sword and Bloody Shield. So like, seriously, get over yourselves. But no, yeah, the more and more I see it, I'm like, yep. Give me my Bulbasaur, give me my Chimchar, I'm all good. And that's the thing. These are the games I won't be renting these games. I'll probably be buying these games. So that's like 120 quid going right out the window for me.
Wait, you know, I have both? Cool.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay. Cool.
I don't just buy
Well, fuck
one.
around.
I double dip on those
Double
fuckers.
dip. You're one of the double dippers.
Hell
Foxes. Foxes is one of those Pokemon double dippers I've heard about.
I've got Sword and Shield. Let's go Eevee and Pikachu in my box here next to me. I had blue, yellow, red. And the others.
Fresh look at Pokemon Legends Arceus, the open world Sinnoh game set in a more feudal version of the region. That's out on Nintendo Switch the 28th of January 2022, exactly 1 week after Elden Ring. Rip me.
Everyone's very surprised that it didn't move. Everyone's very surprised it didn't move.
Pokemon's going to outsell Elden Ring.
Oh, hell yeah, we know that, yeah. But
They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about Elden Ring.
I think it's more that like it's 2 months. It's not even like it's like
From
8 weeks after
Diamond and Pearl.
Shine. Yeah, that's why I think everyone's surprised by still for it. That's why it kind of makes me think: do they have something for next fall as well? Which they probably will, but who knows?
Foxes, what do you think? What kind of Pokemon game is going to come out next fall? As an expert on the Pokemon series, that I know that you are.
Pokemon Snap 2. I don't know.
I think a lot of people like been calling for like the Let's Go versions of the Johto region, but I don't know if that's anything they actually want to do or anything. So I don't know, but no. I enjoyed the look of this Pokemon Legends Arceus. The new Growlithe looks adorable. I love the new Growlithe. He looks amazing. I just want. Yeah, that's the one I'm going for straight away. I don't care if he's weak or anything. I'm going straight for that fucker, and I'm going to I'm catching you. Hell yeah, he looks awesome.
I'm glad you're excited.
Oh, I love Pokemon. I do. When it gets close to a new game, like a main base game or something like that, I always get excited. Like the little ones like Pokemon Go and like Cafe and all like that don't really intrigue me. But when it comes to the other ones, yeah, like the main ones, I really enjoy them. Like Pokemon Legends Arceus, because it's something more different than they've ever done before. I think that's really what's putting a more shine on it for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. Like,
it's more RPG-ish than I actually thought it was going to be. It looked like it.
Again, for me, it's like my hesitation has got nothing to do with Pokemon Legends Arceus, the game itself, or anything I've seen from the game. I think it looks pretty wicked. My hesitation is, as I mentioned when I read the bullet point, is it comes out 1 week after Elden Ring.
I've already agreed. You're going to do Elden Ring. I'm going to do Arceus, so
literally,
right.
Like
I'm gonna
my most anticipated game of 2022. Like, I've found out that From Software games for me are like Marmite. I either love them or I hate them. There's no in between for me. Like, this is what I've done. This is the last year of my life doing extensive research into From Software's games. I never just go, yeah, that was all right. I either go, oh, fuck, that was terrible. I hated that. Or fuck, that was amazing. I think my Dark Souls 3 retrospective really dives deeply into that topic. Do I need to read this last bullet point? I don't know if it's important or not.
For people who obviously try and catch all Pokemon, especially like the shinies, and I think this is big for them.
The Pokemon Company confirmed Pokemon Home support for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokemon Legends Arceus in 2022.
Yeah.
Catch them all.
Basically, like all my Pokemon that I have, like on Sword and Shield, are all in my Pokemon Home on my Switch. Cool. I don't have them in the game; I have them in there, so they're all saved and safe. Like I've got like 5 Bulbasaurs in there.
Sure, I mean yeah. I am sure they're within hand's reach. There's a Bulbasaur.
Oh yeah! Look at that bad boy. Oh, he's got some dust on him. Sorry. Look at that bad boy.
Nice. All right.
If I can't get one, I'm gonna be so annoyed.
All right, all right. We're doing that thing again where we're running out of time, but I have to do one news story. I say news story. I say funny story because I read this on Twitter and I was like, this is actually pretty funny. A bee almost ruined the beginning of Skyrim. This is from Liana Ruppert over at Game Informer. He writes, let's be real, the beginning of Skyrim was iconic. Riding in on the cart towards your execution and the "you're finally awake" line has essentially become the new Rickroll when it comes to memes. Not only was the scene itself pretty awesome in its own right, but the faded black effect only to end up in the Skyrim cart has become a steadfast joke put into TikTok videos, trailers, and other gags that point towards the game with 1,000 releases. Little did we all know that one tiny bee almost ruined it all. Nate Perkypile, a former developer who worked at Bethesda for Skyrim, dropped this little nugget of truth over on social media talking about the various issues this one scene gave the team. Nowadays, bugs in Bethesda games are nothing new. In fact, even the studio pokes fun at itself for some of the more oddball glitches found in its engine. But in this case, it was an actual bug that caused things to go awry. Perkypile opened up about the beginning sequence and how the smallest things can cause everything to go off the rails. And if you haven't read this Twitter thread already, strap in. In a lengthy thread, the former Bethesda dev talked about the cart ride and how it's not a simple cart on rails, it's physically simulated, and the why behind why it went completely off course is kind of hilarious. If the road was too bumpy or the physics were not quite right, there were 1,000,001 ways that this one simple scene could go sideways, causing the car to, quote, freak out and fly off the road. Maybe somebody accidentally put a rock too close to the road. The cart had a path it wanted to follow, but that doesn't mean it was a path it could follow. Big difference. Perkypile added, equipped with a smiley face. Where things get weird is at one point the cart was doing what carts do, until all of a sudden it started to shake uncontrollably, before it eventually just shot right up in the sky, quote, like a rocket ship. Something was telling that cart to just fuck right off and get off that road. And the thing is, it wasn't happening every time, end quote. He then said that no one knew what the culprit was at the time, though later it was discovered that there was a bee in the game that couldn't be picked up. Quote, it turns out there was another bug where the bee in the game couldn't be picked up, so then some portions couldn't be made. That bug got fixed. Only the type of collision put on the bee didn't just let it get picked up, it also made it collide into things, end quote. Basically, this means that the bee was seen in-game as an immovable force of nature, and since the bee read that it didn't want the car to move, then it couldn't move the way it was intended. And that's how you get cart rocket ships, apparently. He ended this thread with one important lesson, end quote. So game development is hard. Every time you fix one thing, you might be breaking another. This is especially true about open world games. Yet, that interplay of all systems is what ends up making them all super interesting, end quote. There was a bee. An immovable force of nature. And it went, boop, and the cart went, nope, and just got yeeted off into the fucking solar system.
But my juniper berries.
Do you want to know what's the most
With
funniest
my weed.
thing?
What?
Literally, and I do mean literally, about an hour ago, they've just announced Skyrim Anniversary Edition coming later this year.
Oh, yeah.
You can upgrade the special edition to the Anniversary Edition. Free next day upgrade coming soon. They've also added a new thing to the game. You can fish in it.
I mean, I'm just letting the silence play out for a minute. I don't know about anybody else. So they're re-releasing Skyrim again.
What? Okay, never mind. I know the reason why.
No, I'm looking at
that
it.
question.
Yeah, it's the next gen, or the new gen versions of the game, right?
Crazy, but back to the story. And yep, that is basically what a bug does, especially how infuriating it can truly be when it comes to a bug in a game. Like, it's insane. Like, I had a friend who was developing like just a level at college, and he was like, and he asked me, can you have a look at it and everything like that? And I had a look at it, and I was thinking, there's something wrong here, but I can't really pinpoint it. So we had a look at the level, and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't understand what's happening here. And then we looked at it, like, he was like, I don't know what I've done. And then we finally, and I was like, okay, how about you zoom out a bit? And so he zoomed out, and he literally had something basically firing in that was blocking something, and it was completely distorting his whole level. So it's like, how have you put that in there? It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking, well, thank God you're learning, I guess. And everything, but no, yeah, that was really, really funny. That
you can take heart, Moody, like from the fact that it happens to the most re-released game of all time, right? Like, oh, we need to turn collision on this B so people can pick it up. Wait, why does the intro not work properly anymore?
insane, but no, yeah.
Something was telling the car to just fuck right off, get off that road. Is going to be one of my quotes of the year. Little P. You're finally awake. Let's go into space. That'll be the next Skyrim. That'll be the next Skyrim release. Skyrim in space. Oh wait, that's called Starfield. Moody, let's do games out next week.
Games out next week. The most important game of mine and Fox's lives. Truly. Aliens, Fireteam Elite, PC, PlayStation, and the Xbox. Set in the iconic Alien universe, Aliens, Fireteam Elite. It's a cooperative third-person survival shooter that drops your fire team of hardened Marines into a desperate fight to contain the evolving xenomorph threat. And that is it for Games Out next week.
It better live up to to our hopes and expectations. That's all I'm saying right now.
I think it'll hit our expectations, mate, but I still think it's going to be like around 75 when it comes to reviews or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Cool. So, time for Open Critic, ladies and gentlemen, head to head. Amy's had a bonking crazy time when it comes to Open Critic, head to head. I think I better read the other games, I guess, before Amy gives me the stares into a hole into my forehead. Next game, King's Bounties the Second of 2. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Legends Return. In this long-awaited sequel to the legendary King's Bounty video games franchise, one of the most iconic retrospectives of the turn-based RPG genre. Behind the Flame, the finest scenery. The scenery further. PC. Guide brushstrokes and solve a variety of puzzles to help an inspiring artist complete her masterpiece. Amid her bushwhack, neighbor's gaze, and his pesky cat. As her painting starts to take shape, uncover an emotional tale of chance and artistry revealed behind the unrelated yet familiar moments. Psychonauts 2 PC, PlayStation, Xbox Plus, Game Pass. Combining quirky missions and mysterious conspiracies, Psychonauts 2 is a platforming adventure game with cinematic style and tons of customable psychic powers. Baldur the Guardian Owls. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. The prophecy is coming true. A pure-hearted child has been born. The no-hearted creature sealed in the underground by the wise owls is destined to rise again. Inked, A Tale of Love, PC and Xbox. Inked is a narrative-driven puzzle game set in a world of beautiful ballpoint pen-drawn landscapes. Playing as the nameless hero, you will solve intriguing puzzles while searching for your love, Inko. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, No More Heroes 3 coming to Switch. The legendary assassin's Travis Touchdown makes his glorious return to the madness in the No More Heroes 3 game, exclusively blah blah blah. The evil prince FU and his band of alien assassins are itching to conquer Earth, and the only thing standing in their way is Travis Touchdown and his crew. And one final time, ladies and gentlemen, the most important game coming out next year, Aliens Fireteam Elite.
2 on August 25th. Anyway, it's time for
No
Open
more
Critic
Heroes
Head-to-Head.
3 with Evil Prince FU.
Yep. I mean, that's exactly the kind of tone of No More Heroes. Like, nailed. To a T. It's time for way past time, so I'm going to try and do this quickly. It's time for Open Critic Head-to-Head. This is a game where we play every single week, where we try to guess the upcoming Open Critic average of one game. Now I need to get my timelines right here. Last week, we tried to guess the Open Critic average of 12 minutes. I guessed it would get an 89. Moody guessed it would get a 92. Foxes guessed it would get a 91. 12 minutes is currently saying, at the time of recording, an Open Critic on a 78, which gives Amy 1 point. However, 2 weeks ago, we tried to guess the Open Critic average of Naraka Blade Point. I guessed it would get a 75. Moody guessed it would get an 85. Foxes guessed it would get an 80. We finally have a review score on Open Critic, which at the time of recording is a 75, which means Amy gets 2 points, which means this week Amy gets 3 points. And Moody gets none.
We
And Foxes get
overshot Foxes on 12 minutes. We overly
We
shot.
really did.
I still
Well,
think...
Amy overshot as well, but because she's closest to it, we all overshot here. Let's just be frank here when it comes to 12
still
minutes.
think when I play 12 minutes, my number's going to be close. Like, my number in my head's going to be closer to the number that I guess. But anyway, that puts the current scores at Amy 15, Moody 12, Foxes 6, Keith 10 with 2 draws this week. We're going to try and guess the Open Critic average of Psychonauts 2, because there is absolutely no way I was making us guess the Open Critic average for Aliens Fireteam Elite. That is not a can of worms I wanted to open on this podcast.
Why?
You don't want to know. So what do you think, Moody? Psychonauts 2, Open Critic average. What do you think we got?
Well, for Aliens Isolation's Fireteam, I think it's going to get a 75. So I wasn't going to open a can of words out there at all.
I didn't say you were going to open it.
Psychonauts 2. 80.
80. Foxes.
85.
85. And Amy. Wait, that's me. 88. Boom.
Boom.
Boom, I say.
Okay.
See where we land on that next week. Because this time there is definitely going to be reviews. I've seen the review embargo date and everything. It'll not be like the time that one game got delayed and then the next week the game didn't get any reviews. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're back on track. We're back on target. Let's get out of here, shall we? Because we're well over time as usual. I need to start being a more control. Just bring slightly more control back to this podcast as the co-host. Just to get us back under that 2-hour mark. Moody, give us some final thoughts.
Give us one more. I've got the final thoughts. Where is it? Damn it. Smeg. Bollocks.
Me going, hey, we're well over time. We better wrap this up.
Continue with some positive thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case no one has told you today or any other day. We believe in you, and you are truly doing great. Stay awesome and kick butt.